The world depends on agriculture, but farming isn't just hard work. It's innovation, strategy, business. This is the Wylie AgCast, where we dive into everything that drives modern agriculture. From the latest advancements in ag tech to the business strategy shaping the industry, we cover tools, trends, and challenges that matter to you. Sit back, relax, and tune in.
Welcome to another episode of the Wylie AgCast. I'm Cody West, the corporate market manager here at Wylie Implement and Spray Centers, visiting with the corporate parts manager for Wylie Implement, Dene Morgan. We talked to Jason Fisher, the president of our company, who did an awesome job. We visited with a customer, Brad Heffington. His was a two-part episode. We did about 2 hours with Brad Heffington, wow. So we're real excited about that. So you're number 4. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Are you nervous?
Absolutely.
all we have to do is pretend like there's no lights or cameras or microphones.
Just you. Just talking to you.
Just shoot the bull. I mentioned Jason Fisher. Of course, Jason is the president of our company, and he runs the day-to-day operations of our company. Scott Wylie's the owner. But, I think you and I probably, without ever having talked about it before, can agree that Jason's an awesome boss, isn't he?
I would have to 100% agree.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to work for anybody else.
And I'm not trying to get a raise or anything, Jason. I'm just saying, it's a good guy to work for. Yeah, he's a great guy to work for, and I've been here just over 6 years. You've been here a little less.
About 3 years.
But yeah, so since I've been here, I just love this place. I talked about it some on my episode when Ethan interviewed me for the podcast. But great people to work for. Jason's awesome. We've got multiple divisions in the company, and I know you focus more on implement parts. Here in marketing, we kind of service the Wylie sprayers and the Wylie brand as much, if not more, than the Wylie implement and the Case IH stuff. The manufacturing side of things, it's a diverse company. We're spread out, and we do a lot with a little, it kind of seems like sometimes. But really great company to work for, and I think if you've enjoyed it half as much as I have working here, I think you feel pretty good.
I want to jump in here and say, I know that you keep saying work for, a great company to work for, but there's so many more, or so much more to that. I think that it's a great team to work with.
Absolutely.
We have a great parts team, service team, sales team, administration team that has years of experience and knowledge and expertise that I couldn't do this without them.
Yes, ma'am. And Ethan and I talked about it again in my first interview here on the Wylie AgCast, but you just kind of feel at home. In addition to being knowledgeable experts, and everybody's really good at what they do here, really good people. I mean, everywhere you go.
And willing to help.
That's right. And some of us need more help than others.
I know I need all the help I can get.
I know, right? When I started, I work in Lubbock at our corporate offices, and we're kind of in multiple buildings here. And, Jim Thompson, who was the marketing manager before me, told me, he said, right across the street at Wylie Spray Center, there is more knowledge about spraying than probably in any building in the world. He said, those guys have so many years and so much experience in spraying. They just... and we've had a few retire since then out of that store, but we've got some guys that really know their business, guys and girls who really know their business. And, I think that's one of the benefits to doing business with Wylie. If you're a farmer, or, you've got a few acres and need a utility tractor, or you're even from our spray centers, we sell to guys that have mobile wash units and things like that, so there's plenty of reasons to do business with us, because our people can help you be successful in whatever you're doing. And that's really kind of, what we're all about. So, that's part of the reason we wanted to start this podcast, was to kind of let people know about our company and how we do business, and the great people that we have working for us, as much as the products that we sell. So you are the corporate parts manager. You said you've been here for 3 years. What's your background? Where did you, I mean, I know, but tell our listeners where you worked before.
Well, I actually started out with a dealership out of Dene. I started there when I was 15. I just kind of gravitated to it. I've always been interested in welding and mechanics, and I took that in shop. And I grew up on a farm, so until my younger years, and so I just gravitated towards it. It just feels home to me. I couldn't do anything else. I really enjoy where I'm at and what I'm doing.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I was at that dealership. I started out part-time, just dusting shelves and stocking parts. And I had a heart for the customer, and I had something to prove. And they had a need. They needed someone with experience and expertise, and I had none of that. And so, but I did have an eagerness to learn, and I had a heart to serve. And so I actually got one of the best compliments I've ever been given from the manager at that store. And he had told me that, Dene, you know what I appreciate about you? He said, it doesn't matter if the customer comes in and has spent thousands of dollars with us, or he just has $5 to spend. You make him feel like the most important person in the building. And that's a compliment. And what I've loved about coming to Wylie's is everybody in this company has that same eagerness to learn and heart to serve, because ultimately that's what we're doing, is we're serving our customers.
Sure.
And
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it's a selfless servant.
Absolutely. And, another thing is the type of customers we have, especially in the ag business, mainly farmers. What they do is a very important job for not only our country, but the world, right? They grow
Absolutely.
food, they grow cotton for clothing. They kind of make the world go round, and we help support that. And that is, that's an honorable profession, I think,
Absolutely, I would agree.
And, it's changed a lot over the years. I'm sure you've, been in a parts house or a dealership since you were a teenager. It's changed a lot. But one thing I think kind of remains the same is that they're mostly quality people, and they thrive on relationships, and we thrive on relationships. And since the 60s, Wylie has had a great relationship with our customers for the most part, and that continues today.
And I think that's important, is the word relationship. Is they're not just a name in the computer. They're not just a face coming through the door. We're building relationships with them. And I think that's what makes it important to us, is when we know our customer, we know their families, we know what's going on in their lives. And when we know those things and we've built relationships with them, then it's easy to do what we do. It's
Yes, ma'am.
easy to serve them and to, love on them in a way.
Absolutely. And, being a partner with them in their business. If our customers are successful, then so are we. And if they fail, we fail, so it's hand in hand. And that, I believe, will always be, as long as people are growing crops, because it's such a major undertaking. And the farming world has changed so much. Technology has changed a lot too. I'm sure when you started, things weren't quite as technical as they are now.
We still had a microfiche that
Okay.
we looked our parts up on. So
Okay, for anybody under the age of 40, explain what a microfiche machine is.
the big console TVs we
Yeah.
used to have in
Yeah.
our homes that it took two people to move?
Yes.
A microfiche is kind of like that. It's a big, heavy machine that you take
Film.
cards
Yeah.
with all of your pictures and all of your part numbers, and you stick it into the machine to look up your parts.
And
And
it's-
if you have the wrong card, you're flipping through cards to get the right card.
Right.
To
And
get
it was a
that.
miniature impression of that sheet, whatever you're trying to view on
Exactly,
your screen, right? It's
yes.
all just shrunk down on there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
people, if under a certain age, have no idea. What
Yeah, you just told my age. I appreciate that.
Well, maybe they were behind the times where you used to work. But in any case, it's changed a whole lot. Have you always worked in parts?
I have,
Okay.
and I say I've always worked in parts. At the dealership I was with, there was nothing I didn't do. If it needed to be done, I did it. And it's the same with Wylie's. If there's, I know you called me the corporate parts manager, but I like to call myself a glorified peon.
Okay.
I just do all of the things that nobody else wants to do.
Okay.
And so if there's something that needs to be done, it doesn't bother me to jump in and get it done.
Yes,
A
ma'am.
lot of times when I'm going to the other dealerships, I wouldn't ask them to do anything I wouldn't be willing to do myself. So I'm taking out the trash. I'm cleaning things up. I'm putting things in order. So
Yeah, and it's, our company's full of people like that, right? Like you
Absolutely.
said, everybody's willing to jump in and help. And one thing about our company is that, and you mentioned that when you're in other dealerships, and we talked about this before we came on, that a lot of people, if you are a Wylie customer in one of the locations that we're at, you may not even realize how big this company is and how much it's grown over the years, especially if you were in the Lubbock area and kind of started with Wylie, or Waco was the second store. But, it's a company that's spread out from the Rio Grande Valley all the way to Oklahoma City, Amarillo down to El Campo. And not all of our stores are Wylie implement full line case dealers, but all of our stores are case application dealers. So it's kind of an odd thing where we can sell Patriot sprayers and Trident applicators in every store, but not always a Magnum tractor. But we are fully entwined with Case IH and very spread out. And a lot of dealers are more regional, but because we're spread out, you're on the road a lot. Every time I call you, you're in Oklahoma City.
just recently, I think we've got that one ironed out now.
Okay. So how much of that is just traveling around from store to store, helping, putting out fires, managing, or is it just, making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do? It varies.
It varies. I do a lot of traveling, but I have a great team. There's a great parts team, and they do their job. And as long as they're getting it done, I don't have to do the traveling. A lot of times I can handle things over the phone.
Sure.
Now, when we're making major changes or we're counting inventories, I have to be there. If there's employment changes, I'm doing training. I'm hiring, I'm training. So a lot of my travel is intentional. It's
Sure.
not just going to visit.
Right,
So,
yeah.
which is nice because that means that I can rely on my team.
Absolutely. And, I kind of, in my line of work and marketing, it's a little bit the same. We try to visit the stores when we can, but for the most part, it's, kind of a lot of phone calls and emails and Zoom meetings and things like that. But being as spread out as we are presents a lot of challenges, but also a lot of advantages as well. I know before we came on, we were talking about parts availability and the kind of the world we live in today in 2025, tariffs, and we went through a few years ago, when all the boats were in the ocean and they couldn't dock and people weren't getting toilet paper and things like that. We kind of made it through that, and parts availability was an issue then, but now, at least from what you were telling me before we came on, it's really not so much. We're able to provide our customers with parts. We're able to provide our service department with the parts they need to do repairs. And one of the good things about being spread out with 13 different locations is if we don't have it in Abilene, we can get it from Lubbock, or if we don't have it in Amarillo, we could get it from Plainview if they have it. And so we all work together to try to get these farmers taken care of. And that's a major advantage, I think, just having as many locations as we have.
I feel that is one of our greatest advantages, is that we do have so many locations that we can utilize each other where we may not have it, where we can provide and service our customer best by having our other inventories at other locations. So when Case doesn't have the product, we may have it right there in our store down the road, whether it
Sure.
be 3 hours or 9 hours, we can still get the product.
Sure. Yes, ma'am. And that's important, I think, especially to a customer who may not realize that, we're as spread out as we are. And, and it's an ever-changing world. Farming is changing. Farming equipment is changing drastically. But one thing that I don't guess has ever really changed is that equipment will always need to be worked on, whether it's your golf cart or your Magnum tractor. Everything breaks down. Every car needs service. Every tractor needs service, as well as, sprayers, combines, and everything in between. And that's where we like to say that we set ourselves apart from a lot of other dealerships, is that we strive to take care of our customers after the sale. And I know the parts department and the service department kind of work together a lot. And I don't know if people realize that there's a whole lot of working together with parts and service. And even when we advertise it, it's not parts advertising or service advertising, it's parts and service advertising, the parts and service department. Talk a little bit about the service department at Wylie a little bit, just from the outside looking in that you see. I mean, we've got guys that have years and years of experience working on equipment. I know every store kind of has its own personality, but for the most part, our service department is a bunch of people who do a great job. And from what I've seen, I don't work with them daily like the parts department does, but it seems like I know probably there's little bumps in the road now and then, but for the most part, the Wylie service department and the Wylie parts department kind of go hand in hand, right?
I believe that that's the only way they can work, is hand in hand. Do we fail sometimes at communication? Could we do better? Yes, we
Sure.
could absolutely do better. However, we have a heart for our customer, and they do a great job of providing.
Never perfect, but we're always striving for perfection, right? In everything that we do here. And we have lots of great equipment, lots of great products, lots of great people. And, we've mentioned Case a few times, but one thing that I haven't yet talked about is New Holland. Of course, our 2 locations in the Rio Grande Valley are both New Holland dealers. We're hoping to expand on that. And you talk about parts and service and the relationship there, but Case and New Holland has a relationship as well. They're both under the CNH umbrella, but it's from what I understand, 2 different companies that kind of use the same parts in a lot of stuff. Is that right?
They are interchangeable. A lot of them are. Now, there are some that are proprietary to Case and others to New Holland. However, there are some interchangeable components between the products.
So are there challenges for you and your parts managers and the people at the parts counter when you're having to work between Case and New Holland, or is it all seamless?
No, there
Okay.
are challenges.
Do they
There
use the
it
same
is.
systems and the same?
It is the same
Okay.
systems, yes. No, we do use the same ordering systems between both, but there are challenges in the keeping 2 products. It's the same part number, one under one manufacturer, one under the other.
I see.
Just checking back and forth, making sure you have it. If you don't have it in one, checking on the other. There is a little bit of a hiccup on that, but
gotcha.
it's a lot of times it's beneficial
Sure.
that we do have the option. If we don't have it in one, sometimes we have it in the other.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's that's something I think will probably continue to grow inside of our company, is the Case and New Holland relationship there, and I'm excited about the future of that. And the future is a little bit uncertain, but one thing that I think we know is that e-commerce, the internet, the way people purchase things now compared to 10 years ago and prior is totally different in a lot of cases. Somebody made a comment to me one time. They said people are less loyal to their local parts house now than they've ever been. because of the availability of parts online. And I know we don't have a full line Wylie e-commerce site, but CNH does have an e-commerce site, and it's linked on the WylieSprayers.com website. Talk about that a little bit. Can a customer go on to our website, to the CNH, was it called My E-Store?
My CNHI
My
store.
CNH store. Can they go there and buy any part that we offer?
They can. They
Okay.
could actually go in, and that has made it easier for our customers. Those that don't have the time to come into the store, drop what they're doing, and make the drive. Sometimes
Sure.
they're a ways off. And
Yeah.
so it has made it easier for our customers that they can just go online. They have their own account. They can pay by credit card and just go in there and place their orders. We then get those orders on our end and fulfill their needs, where they
awesome.
don't have to make the trip.
Yeah, and it's we are open on the weekends, in the mornings and whatnot. But when you have a breakdown, or you need a part, or something happens on the farm, you may not have time or the people to stop what you're doing, drive into town between 8 and 5 Monday through Friday, or send one of your employees out between 8 and 5 Monday through Friday, take them away from what they're doing. And like you mentioned, a lot of our customers are a pretty good ways away from our stores in almost every case, right? Because most of our stores are located in a town, and farming is out of town everywhere you go. So that gives our customers an option that I think is a game changer, right? Because from the cab of the tractor, they could get on their phone and order a part, and then it's there for them. So that to me is real exciting, and I'm hoping that as a company we are able to expand on that too. But that's the world we live in now, and I think that you could probably order stuff online from other places, but there are advantages too to buying from your local dealership, even if it's not the place where you bought the equipment. If it's the brand of equipment that you're running, then there are still advantages to that. Primarily being that we can help you if you need help. I don't know, you probably know better than I do, but our parts counter people, I'm sure, have customers that come in and say, well, this broke, I don't know what it is or what the part is, but can you help me? And it's on us to help you solve that problem.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned earlier that you've heard that customers are not loyal to any one dealership or another, but there's a benefit to having your dealer right in your back pocket. If you're ordering your parts online, is that online company going to be there on a Sunday afternoon when you're broke down and you need fixed? And money, your pocket is being affected when you're broke down. In downtime, that costs you money, it costs you opportunity, it costs you time. So the benefit to having some loyalty to your dealership is we're right there. And we've built a relationship with you.
Sure.
And so when you're broke down, it's important to us too.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to be there. We've got an after-hours parts mobile and service mobile at every location. So if you're broke down on the weekend, we can be there for you.
Time is money.
Time is money.
Yes, ma'am. So that's a huge advantage. Even if you order parts online, that's a huge advantage to to buying parts from your local dealer and keeping that relationship open. And it's an ever-changing world. I'm sure there'll be something else down the road that we don't even know about or haven't even thought about yet. But right now, e-commerce is kind of where it's at when you're buying stuff. And even Walmart has had to go online to help compete with Amazon, and it's just the world we live in now. And so I'm happy to see that Case IH is in that realm of the digital marketplace, and our customers being able to utilize that. And I bet a lot of them don't know about it, but if you go to WylieSprayers.com and you scroll down on the front page, if you scroll down to the lower portion of the front page, there's a CNH logo, and you click on that, and then it takes you to our e-commerce site. And you and I talked about maybe making that more prevalent on the Wylie website too, just to let people know that they can take advantage of that option.
Now you mentioned time is money, and we understand that with our customer, and we understand the hardships that they're facing with the increased pricing, and so a lot of the ways we counter that is Case actually offers promotions and discounts on their product. We actually signed up for that service in the last 2 years, and with that service we send out flyers and mailers to all of our customers with the promotions and discounts that are offered. Now, I don't know that a lot of our customers are seeing those, but we understand that their money is important.
Sure.
And so even if they're not seeing it, or they're not bringing in or to our attention, hey, I got this promotion in the mail. What kind of discounts are you offering? Can I utilize this? Even if they're not asking, we're offering that to our customers.
Yes, ma'am.
And so,
yeah, I mean, that little bit of an incentive to buy those parts when you need them. And a lot of times, everybody's different, but what I see sometimes, a lot of farmers will plan ahead, and during the off season, wintertime or whatever, they'll stock up on certain things that they know they're going to need for the next season, right? Maybe filters, maybe hydraulic fluid, maybe whatever it is. They'll stock up on that stuff. And so when you see those specials or you see those incentives, you might as well just take advantage of it, because you can save some money on a lot of that stuff that you may not need now, but you're going to need it in the future. So, I think that that's something that as a marketing department, we should probably kind of drive home a little bit more, is like, hey, think about this stuff ahead of time, because you're going to need it at some point. You don't always have to rely on us when something breaks down. You can be proactive in it. And, that's where we come in. And that's all about the relationships that we're talking about. We have a lot of stuff available for customers that doesn't pertain to your tractor breaking down. So talk a little bit about that. I don't know if you've never been inside of a Wylie implement store. We've got all kinds of cool stuff. Toys, air compressors, tools. I mean, we got all kinds of
power
stuff.
equipment.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about some of that stuff that you may not think about. It's like, well, if my tractor don't break down, I don't need them. But we've got all kinds of cool stuff for sale.
We do. We have, we don't just touch on the product that you need for your equipment. We have, like you said, we have toys, we have apparel, we have chemicals and lubricants and paint and
just stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of cool things that you may not know you needed until you see it. And we really kind of try to promote our toys and stuff around Christmas time, but there are a lot of toy tractor collectors out there. We've had a lot of people come in and look. They're looking for a specific year model of a toy tractor, or the kids come in and they see this stuff, and you get to go to the parts house with dad and get a tractor off the toy tractor off the shelf, things like that. So it's more than just helping you fix your stuff when it's broken. We have all kinds of things available for our customers, and probably most people would be pleasantly surprised. And I know it's the middle of summertime, but we always talk about, like, do your Christmas shopping at Wylie Implement. At least start here and look and find some really cool stuff for your dad, your grandpa, your kids. I think I even saw a little pink toy tractor you can ride in some of our stores. So just because it's pink doesn't mean it has to be for a girl. But you know what I'm saying. We had a little pink tractors in there. So all kinds of really cool stuff, and all that kind of falls under your department. Do you decide what gets stocked on the shelves, or do the local parts managers kind of make those decisions?
No, I leave it up to them.
Okay.
They know their area. They know their customers best, so they're going to be able to stock their departments accordingly and to what their customers are asking them for. There are a lot of programs available where we can offer extra discounts on the toys or on tools. We try to take advantage of all of the promotions that they offer through Case so that we can make it, easier for the customer.
I collect pocket knives, and I was in Abilene one day and I saw a really cool knife, so I bought that one at our Abilene store. And then not too long after that, I was in the Lubbock store and I saw a different pocket knife, and so I bought that one. It's kind of like my thing. Every time I visit one of our stores, and I'll be in Amarillo day after tomorrow, I don't know if they have any knives, but if it's different than what I've got, I'll probably buy it. But it's pretty neat locate. Every store is a little bit different in that way that the local managers decide what to stock on their shelves, and that's a pretty neat deal. It's to me, it's a great place to work. It's a company of value. I'm really excited about the future. I'm glad you're a part of it, and I think that, hopefully the company will continue to grow, and people like you and I and everybody else will continue to grow with the company as well. But, if you're at home watching or driving and listening to this thing, and you've listened to the previous episodes this is the first one I've hosted. Ethan has hosted the other ones. Of course, I was a guest. But I think one common thread through all of these interviews, at least with the Wylie employees, is that we're really like genuine people who care about our customers and care about this company and just strive to make it better every day. And I'm glad you're a part of it.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have anything else in closing, or are you all talked out? I don't know how long we've been going, but I really appreciate you coming by and doing this. I know this was maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone, but you did great.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. And for our customers out there, if you see Dene in a store, tell her hello, and you saw her on the podcast, and we'll see you down the road.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dene Morgan, our special guest here on the Wylie AgCast. Until next time, I'm Cody West. Make it a great day, everybody.